Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Blacklogic. So this morning, we're going to spend some time this morning. This is going to be a longer video than I usually do. Most of my videos are anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes. This may go a little bit over. I will be showing some video clips to solidify my stance and my position on a couple of topics that we're going to cover today. But without haste, I do want to give you guys an update on Deutsche and some of the things that they have been finding here. And I'm just going to go over a couple of these very roughly, very quickly. This is what the U.S. payer, tax dollars are being spent on. $69 million on Eurasia Foundation to digital transformation activity in Europe. Again, Europe, not America. $32 million to interns for people in Moldova, not America. $7 million for the American Bar Association to promote the resilience of Eurasian legal sector and civic society. Again, Eurasia is compounding the continent or the countries in Europe as well as Asia. Again, not America. $520 million for a consultant to do ESG investments in Africa. $25 million to promote biodiversity in Colombia. $40 million to economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. $42 million for Johns Hopkins research. Again, some of these, again, this was posted yesterday, but nonetheless, this is more and more money that they're finding out that is concerning a lot of your tax dollars, nonetheless. Now, the House of Representatives have nearly passed a Republican budget blueprint that aligns with President Donald Trump's fiscal agenda. The vote stood at 217 versus 215, with all Democrats opposing and a single Republican, Thomas Massey, dissenting. This budget plan is pivotal for advancing Trump's proposed tax cuts and immigration policies. Now, it is notable because it outlines $2 trillion in spending reductions over the next decade, which includes a substantial $800 billion cut from Medicaid, a move that has raised very, very vital concerns among both Democrats and moderate Republicans, especially those representing constituencies heavily relying on Medicaid services. Now, the $4.5 trillion budget increases funding for defense and border security. The House now faces the challenge of reconciling this plan with a Senate bill that address similar priorities but delays on decision and tax policies. Now, some of the things that are covered in this bill when we're talking about tax cuts, aiming for $4.5 trillion in tax reduction over the next decade. The plan seeks to extend the tax cuts and introduced during Trump's first term. Now, spending cuts. To offset the tax cuts, the budget proposes $2 trillion in spending cuts with $800 billion specifically slashed from Medicaid. Defense and border security, an additional $300 billion is allocated for defense and border security enhancements. The debt ceiling increase. The resolution includes a $4 trillion raise in the debt ceiling to accommodate the proposed fiscal changes. Now, I know these are a lot of numbers that I just rambled off, and some of you are like, what does this all mean? Again, he's moving money to cover certain things that wasn't covered before. But the big outcry that a lot of people on both sides, moderate Republicans as well as Democrats, seems to be all the Democrats, is the $800 billion that's being cut for Medicaid. And the only question, in my opinion, that you guys may have, the American citizens, how does this affect me and or people I'm related to who uses Medicaid, who's part of the Medicaid program? That's the question that you guys are probably asking. And to this point, we don't know. Again, there has been a lot of fraud and waste and abuse of government funds that the Deutsche organization has found. So we don't know if that $800 billion that's being cut was going to people who don't even exist. Remember the list in, I believe this was in the Oval Office, that Donald Trump was reading a list of people who was over the age of 150. Like there was someone who was 300 something years of age who's 100 years older than the country. And he's like, where are these people at? I only know one person over 100 years of age. And granted, we do have people over the age of 100 years of age. We do, who are on Social Security. But how many people you know? And again, their statistics, their verifying systems, but how many people you know over the age of 150? I don't think there's no one in the US that is over the age of 150. And that is the point they were trying to make, is so they will sort these people out and find these people so they can keep receiving Social Security. But where are these people now? I believe that is the question that a lot of people are asking. Okay. So let's move right along here. Ukraine has announced the finalization of a minerals deal. I told you I'll keep you guys updated on these stories, with the United States granting American companies significant stakes in Ukraine's rare earth minerals. However, the agreement lacks explicit security guarantees from the U.S., a point of contention for Ukrainian officials. President Zelensky emphasized the necessity of solid security assurances to deter Russian aggression, expressing reluctance to proceed without such commitments, because this is the business deal. This is something all different together. Like, we're talking about a security deal, we're talking about economics on one side, and we're talking about war support on another side. But again, they love to mix politics and business together, and it's not like America doesn't do it. That's why a lot of the Democrats, and I'm pretty sure some Republicans, okay, but a lot of the Democrats, what they show is that these public servants make anywhere from $100,000 to $230,000. But again, I tell you, these people are worth over $200 million. They've been given reports about how a lot of these Democrats who are in place, your Nancy's Pelosi's, your Chuck Schumer's, all of these people, they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars being public servants. That's why you see everyone running to be a politician. And it really doesn't matter, because a lot of these politicians are millionaires. How? Not only this insider training, backwater deals, deep state deals, who knows what's going on in American politics. And I'm not stating those on the right, those on the left. I think they're all contributing, and they're all reaping the return of their investment of the things that the American people don't know. But a lot of things are being revealed, okay? And here's another thing. I don't want this to be a magic trick. I don't want you guys to believe that simply because Elon Musk, by the way of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump himself, is revealing all these things that the government have been doing, as if they don't have magic deals going on themselves. Now, that is my conjecture. I do not know, but I'm just saying I'll still leave that up for public opinion, because we simply don't know. But yeah, but Russia has come out and say, hey, listen, we will do some of the same deals that Ukraine has done. Yeah, we'll do those deals, but we'll do it with the seized land of Ukraine. You guys can mind that. And again, if Ukraine doesn't want to do business with Marco Rubio, doesn't want to do business with the United States of America, then the seized land that Russia has of Ukraine, is it possible that America would do deals with President Putin with the seized land of Ukraine? Would that really start a lot of contention between these two countries, or even with the European nations, or with even NATO countries? I wonder how that would turn out internationally between all these different countries. I don't know. Now, Trump came out and made a very controversial statement to a lot of people. Me necessarily, I don't know. He basically stated, I know some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people. Yeah, oligarchs has been around for quite some time. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but I'll kind of give you a brief overview. You guys remember President Gorbachev, Soviet leader there. Nonetheless, that they stated that Russian oligarchs are opportunists, basically, tycoons who reap enormous fortune in the collapse of the Soviet Union back in 1991. Now, again, I'm going to scroll down here because I just want to highlight some stuff, because I think this, in the contrasting matter of Democrats, it states here, in the Western experience, tycoons often built wealth from the government and private capital. J.P. Morgan, Elon Musk, was a bridge between British leaders and American railroads. Now, not Elon Musk, but I'm talking about how they build their very large capital and asset estates. But when it comes to J.P. Morgan, it says was a bridge between British leaders and American railroads. But Russia's first tycoons got rich almost entirely from one source, the state. They keenly saw and exploited its many weaknesses. Enormous imbalances in prices, property, and trade could be used to make unbelievable profits. Now, you guys can go read all about the Russian oligarchs and how they got their wealth. And not all of the Russian oligarchs are evil, so to speak, but they are opportunists. They remind me of Democrats. And the reason why I state that is because the same way that the Russian oligarchs seem to get their wealth or got their wealth is the same way that some of the Democrats and Republicans, again, I'm very neutral. So if you are a Democrat or Republican, you should stay right here on Blacklogic, because I'm going to give you the truth, the good, the bad, and the ugly on both sides. I don't care, okay? I'm not neither one. I'm not an independent. I'm none of that. I'm just a black man giving the news. And sometimes I'm just American. Now, all the time I'm American, but sometimes I'm just very, very unbiased about these stories. But nonetheless, the reason why I say that, I'm just going to read one more excerpt here. It states here, and I'm just going to highlight, there we go. Political active in the 1990s as President Yeltsin attempted to steer Russia towards capitalism and democracy. This marriage of wealth and power that defined them as oligarchs. Wait a minute, can I just, you guys don't mind if I highlight that, so you guys, for your viewing pleasure. And I want to blow it up just a little bit larger there. President Boris attempted to steer Russia toward capitalism and democracy. Sounds like America, does it not? The marriage of wealth and power that defined them as oligarchs. So believe it or not, oligarch is just a term that they came up with to describe a lot of wealthy business people who were opportunists by the way of the government. Sounds like the American politicians to me, and sounds like the Democratic class more so than the Republicans, but there are a lot of Republicans that fall within this category. Because when we're talking about democracy, people most related that to Democrats. We're talking about capitalism, people most related it to Republicans, but they are just a mixed bag, and who knows who's going to be what the next term. You have a lot of Democrats that turn Republican, and then next term, whoever has more gyrate, more vibe, more energy of who may become the potential next president if they side with the Democratic Party. And you may see a lot of Republicans move over to the Democrat. It's just such a mixed bag. They go back and forth. They go back and forth. And there's, again, I told you there's a lot of clips that I want to show you guys. I want to make sure I'm heading in the right direction, because there's just so many things to cover here. And the one thing that I want to make sure that you guys are keenly aware of is the stance that we have in Black America. Because again, this is not to prove anything to anyone, because a lot of people believe that the Black church is dead. But we still have a lot of writers, we still have a lot of people who are speaking very powerfully against the Democrats and how they have fooled Black people for quite some time under the guise of support, which they never gave us support anyway. They gave us a bunch of symbolism. And we have this pastor here who has been ripping a lot of the Democrats who've been put in place. A lot of these Democratic shills, Black people who are in blackface, but doing things for a bigger cause to fatten their pockets. I want you guys to listen in.
I mentioned the first wolf, which is Reverend Al Sharpton. A wolf if there's never been a wolf before. Used to be a big wolf. Now he's a modernly slim wolf, but still a wolf. He's going around leading a buy-in at Costco. Gave 100 people $25 to go buy items at Costco. The same Reverend Al Sharpton who received $500,000 from the Kamala Harris campaign to give Kamala Harris a softball interview. And there's nothing wrong with being compensated for doing media. But there is a conflict of interest if you are doing an interview and you don't tell people that you're being paid to do the interview. He's a wolf. He's leading a buy-in at Costco because of the DEI conversation. There are lies saying now that blacks will no longer have protections under the law, and they're getting rid of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. You can't do so unless you have support from the House, the Senate, and then the president. There are checks and balances that must be meted out. Amen, somebody. But what is going on, we're trying to rewire and reposition some of the mess that President Barack Obama got us in when he expanded the LBJ executive order that was drafted in 1965.
He shouldn't go there. He shouldn't go there. There's going to be a lot of people mad. He said Barack Obama. Oh, my Lord, 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 Lord. Back to the broadcast.
On Thursday night, I mentioned the first wolf, which is Reverend Al Sharpton. But there is a conflict of interest if you are doing an interview and you don't tell people that you're being paid to do the interview. He's a wolf. He's leading a buy-in at Costco because of the DEI conversation. There are lies saying now that blacks will no longer have protections under the law and they're getting rid of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. You can't do so unless you have support from the House, the Senate, and then the president. There are checks and balances that must be meted out. Amen, somebody. But what is going on, we're trying to rewire and reposition some of the mess that President Barack Obama got us in when he expanded the LBJ executive order that was drafted in 1965. He made it acceptable for transgenders and people who practice sexually deviant behaviors to receive not civil rights, but to be codified in an area where they have special rights. And so what we're doing now is trying to make sure that when you go to work, and if you're a business owner, you don't hire somebody who shows up Monday as a man, but by Friday he's a full-blown woman. And you got to sit there and watch that tranny mess up your business. And if you fire him, you'll be sued. That's what's going on.
Well, like I said, not everybody's for this. So the black church does have some representatives who are speaking very powerfully against this, and I applaud this brother. He's been speaking about against all these Democratic shields, has been trying to fool black people for so long, and trying to put us in these categories where we're supporting a lot of the debauchery and chaotic mess that the Democrats have put inside of these legislation that passed all of these special rights for groups that was essentially for black folk to have some sort of equality in America that we never essentially received. That has been going to illegal immigrants, LGBTQ, all these other groups that the Democrats has forked in while we have been crowbarred out of it. So again, that's why I tell you, not a lot of black Americans are for DEI in the first place. See, the way the Democrats have sort of written this or showcases that, oh, DEI is for minorities and it's mainly going to affect black people. And black people are like, I haven't received any DEI initiative, any DEI support. So when Donald Trump came out and wiped away DEI, those black people who were subjugated and manipulated and tricked and coerced, thinking that these DEI initiatives helped them. No. I would like to believe that over 90% of black people in place wherever they are in any industry, in any sector, in any business, got there based on their merit, their skill, their experience, their education, etc. But the way they painted it as if they were doing things for black folk, which made other groups of people, white people, Asian people, Hispanic people, oh, DEI just helping them. No, 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 no. But when the Department of Labor came out and showed the statistics of people who were being supported and who had benefited off of DEI initiatives, it was white women, white men, Hispanic, Asians, LGBTQ, and then black Americans. So again, you don't have to take my word for it. You can go research it, but nonetheless, this is not about DEI initially. This is about how we have been tricked, manipulated, and coerced for a very long time, and especially the black church by the Democratic Party, and it's time out for all this mess. And I'm glad it's being exposed. I'm absolutely glad it's being exposed, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Now, okay, President Trump, they're not playing around. President Trump, when we talk about the prison for migrants illegally in the U.S. who do not register, the Trump administration has introduced a direct mandating illegal immigrants in the U.S. to register with federal authorities. Non-compliance could result in fines up to $5,000 and imprisonment for up to 6 months. These measures is part of a broader strategy to enforce strict immigration laws and enhance national security. Immigrants over the age of 14 who do not register upon visa application, have registered in the U.S. for over 30 days, are required to comply. They are required to comply. Additionally, registered individual over 18 must carry proof of registration at all times. This is almost equivalent to the Freedom Papers that they did with enslaved Africans, aka foundational Black Americans, when we first came over here, when we were essentially released from slavery with the Emancipation Proclamation by President Abraham Lincoln. These are sort Freedom Papers, but again, do I agree or disagree with this? I agree with it because they are illegally in the country. And so I guess this is another ploy to keep tabs on people by doing this registry. And when we talk about prison time, well, let me back up. Are you guys familiar that President Trump, okay, came out with the Trump Gold Card? Are you guys familiar with that? Because President Trump unveiled a proposal to offer gold card visas priced at $5 million each to attract wealthy foreign investors. They're like, yeah, if you want to come over on America on a visa, you have to give us $5 million. And this is including Russian oligarchs. And this coincides with his sort of stand that I know some Russian oligarchs that are really good people, but you're going to have to pay $5 million to come over to America. And they will. $5 million to a Russian oligarch. These guys are billionaires. These guys are Russian or tycoons. So $5 million is probably like $500 to them. They have a lot of money. But nonetheless, this is again to help and assist America for these businessmen who essentially want to come over to America and enjoy some of the businesses, but they're going to have to pay for it, $5 million. Now, when questioned about the inclusion of Russian nationals, Trump stated, I know some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people. So again, when we look at everything that he's doing, I can see how this benefits America. I can see how this benefits America, but I want you guys to stay right here because there are some things that need to be revealed about these illegal immigrants who do not register, okay? Who will face fines and as well as prison time. And this is important because I don't think people are looking at it the same way that I'm looking at it. I don't think people are looking at it the same way that I'm looking at it. This is the way that I'm looking at it. Do you guys remember the president of El Salvador, that he offered the United States to take a lot of the U.S. deportees as well as U.S. citizens who are the most violent criminals to come inside their jails? You guys remember this? I do. To me, all of this connected, and you have to connect the dots because politics on the surface can seem very complex because all these things are essentially happening at the same time. But underneath the surface, they're very simple. They're all connected, in my opinion. Because again, if you don't register as an illegal immigrant in America and you get caught without your registration papers that you registered over the age of 14, and you don't keep that paperwork with you at all time over the age of 18, then you can be fined and that means both, $5,000 and go to jail. And where is President Trump going to send you? He may send you to El Salvador. Now, the prison that the El Salvador president was referring to, let me jog your memory here, is this prison right here.
Mega prisons, well, El Salvador's government says they're working. According to government figures, the murder rate in the country has dropped significantly. Some 74,000 people have been arrested since President Bukele waged a war on gangs. Last year, over 150 people a day were sent to prison. Although thousands were freed by judges, the alleged gang members that are still locked up aren't allowed to go outside or even have visitors. Human rights organizations have criticized the government for unfairly jailing citizens on suspicion of being linked to the gangs and for the system's lack of rehabilitation. Remember these.
Now, I know a lot of you are asking the question or even proposing the thought, should America adopt some of the tactics that the Salvadorian president has made when it comes to gangs and hardened criminals? Should we adopt that same ideology, some of the same jail tactics that they have done, which have significantly decreased crime in El Salvador, like significantly? People are now coming out. A lot of the Salvadoran citizens are stating that it is now safe in Salvador and my children can walk up and down the street and we do not have to fear of them getting kidnapped or being indoctrinated into a gang or any of the sort. Because anyone who was related, anyone with gang tattoos got incarcerated and they're in jail. And they do have some rehabilitation going on, but a lot of these people are in jail for a very, very long time. And look at the conditions. I want you guys to look at the conditions as this video play here. They are very close to one another. They are chained hands and feet together. They are not even wearing clothes, so to speak. They're just kind of wearing like pajama type. And they don't even have beds. But it has been very significant. This has been a deterrent. People who didn't get caught, they're like, oh, I got to get these tattoos removed. Have you guys seen specials that a lot of these guys are getting their tattoos removed? Yeah, it's scaring the living daylights out of these people not to be engaged. And I applaud it. I applaud it. Okay, I'm not a criminal, so I'm not fearful of anything. I'm not a criminal. I don't, yeah. So again, a lot of these illegal immigrants in this country, you shouldn't just fear deportation. You should fear that you may end up in the Salvadorian prison. He like, yeah, we got a lot more room. Because the way they house them in one room with these cement slabs, they're not even fighting one another, even though a lot of these people are from all different sorts of gangs, mafias, cartels, supremacy groups, all types of stuff. But again, let me put you guys up on game very, very quickly. I want to break down a couple of things for you guys. Now, if you guys ever go to the Department of Justice, to go to departmentjustice.gov, I do want to point out a lot of gangs in America. And our FBI, our Department of Justice, they know these gangs. So just so I'm very, very transparent, I'm going to call out a couple of black gangs, Hispanic gangs, Asian gangs, biker gangs, white gangs, organized syndicates, you name it, I'm going to call them out. I'm going to call them out, and you guys can go reference this information by the FBI.gov or Department of Justice.gov or even Justice.gov, okay? And you see here the National Drug Intelligence Center. They have all this information so this can be verified. And don't take my word for it, but let's name some of these gangs. The Bloods, the Crips. Now, I'm going to start with the black gangs first. The Bloods, the Crips, the Gangster Disciples, the Vice Lords, the Black Guerrilla Family, the People's Nation. Here are some Hispanic gangs. MS-13, 18th Street Gang, Latin Kings, Serenos, Nortinos, Barrio Aztecia. What about Asian gangs? Huaching, Asian Boys, Tiny Rascal Gang, Flying Dragons, Ghost Shadows, motorcycle gangs, Hell's Angels MC, Mongols MC, Outlaws MC, Pagans MC, Vagos MC, Bandidos MC. What about those white supremacist neo-Nazi groups? Aryan Brotherhood, Aryan Nation, the Ku Klux Klan, National Socialist Movement, Antoine Division, the Base. What about organized crime syndicates? The Italian-American Mafia, the Genovese family, Gambino family, Lochis family, Colombo family, the Bonanno family. And then you have these other groups that are operating in America. Russian Mafia, the Armenian Power Mafia, the Albanian Mafia, Chinese Triad, Japanese Yakuza. Then you have a lot of these cartels that operate in America, the Sinaloa cartel, Jalisco New Generation cartel, the Dominican drug traffickers, the Nigerian fraud networks, Colombian drug cartels like the Medellin cartel, okay, that throw the function as original form. A lot of these, again, are reforming and mix and mastering. But again, we have a lot of these gangs, cartels, mafias, motorcycle gangs, white supremacist gangs, regular street gangs in America. Should America start a task force to round up all these people, okay? Not just the black gangs, not just the white gangs or the Hispanic or the supremacists, all of them, and send them to Salvador. Can you guys put that in the comments below? Are you for or against that? I'm just asking for a friend. Again, I just want to know if you guys for or against it. I think it's very significant. I think it's very, very significant that we know if a lot of the American citizens are for this or not. And I wanted to show you guys this right here, because America, we're in this stance, so to speak, that we are tired of all of these people tears. Because for some strange reason, there's particular demographics in America that believe that all black people are the same, and we're not. Okay, we are just like white people derive from Europe and Asian people from Asia and so on and so forth. But we are Americans, true blue, red, white, and blue all together. But there are people here who are crying that are from all these different countries, whether it be Central America, South America, the Caribbean, Africa, Asia, Europe, India, all these different countries. And as an American citizen, who are foundational Black Americans, have been here for hundreds of years, if not thousands. And even European Americans, that you've been here since the 16, 17, even 1500s. We're saying time out. We're tired of the tears. But let's see what they have to say.
Country that I don't know. Like, there's nothing there for me. At any moment, it's just like done. And it's just like, I have to say bye to my family, bye to my friends, my boyfriend. I have to say bye to my clients, and I just don't have my life anymore. Buy a house. I want to do things, you know? How am I supposed to do that?
Originally, I have 4 miscarriages. Afia is my 5th pregnancy.
Tell me about the decision to leave Jamaica.
I'm not sure if there was a decision like a plan. In my head, when we came up, I thought that it wouldn't be long after we came up, maybe a few years, and then we would be able to travel back and forth. We were naive to the immigration law. When we made that decision, we were going to come up and then go back down and just bring her to the embassy.
Dawnette found out she had lupus, a painful autoimmune disease.
So I post on social media. I try to do it every single day. I got brands reaching out to me. Right now I'm working with 3 brands, and I would love to monetize it more. A lot of the brands that reach out to me, a few of them have asked for a W-2. I've had to turn them down.
When you were a kid, did you understand that your parents didn't have papers and that you didn't have papers?
This was the first one I think I can remember.
Again, they know that a lot of the work that they do creates tearjerkers and kind of makes your heart cry to see people in these bad positions. But I must remind you that a good portion of illegal immigrants are committing crimes. A good portion of illegal immigrants are taking opportunities away from American citizens. And for quite some time, every time an American comes out and say that, we get bashed. Oh, you believe that all these immigrants are taking American opportunities? These are jobs that Americans don't want. Oh, they don't. Okay. Why we have a massive amount of unemployment when it comes to America? Well, Americans don't want to work hard. Well, Americans work hard to build the American that we live in. Well, immigrants did that. How? You had to come to something to build and extend upon. You didn't come to, see, here's the thing what people are failing to understand when they're talking about illegal immigration, that these people come here and work hard. Oh, illegal immigrants or immigrants. They don't want to say illegal, because this is not about legal immigration. This is about illegal immigration. If people come here legally who are immigrants, I don't believe majority of Americans are against that. They're just saying, hey, my family came through the right way. Your family need to come through the right way. These are the laws, okay? But we're talking about illegal immigrants, and they're stating that these are the ones who built America. No, first and foremost, foundational Black Americans built the foundation of America, and then other groups came later to build upon what we've already did the hard work for. But again, we're talking about illegal immigrants of today. You came to a place because of the opportunities. Because if America just was dirt and mountains and people living out of tents, do you think people just would have showed up? Because they would have come from the same environment, the same habitat of people just with dirt roads and mountains and things of that nature. No. So don't give me that sob story of that you come here and you built America and America would be nothing without immigrants. Absolutely false. There you have it, guys. Good morning. I told you I was going to go just a little bit longer than usual. Please leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. You guys have a great and prosperous day. This is Blacklogic.